Were you like you, or were you like you?
No, I was like
Super
you.
jazz
Bye.
up in this hole.
I was like you. Bye. Get it?
You dabba dee dabba die. Yeah.
Up, up, and away. What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
welcome to the Whatever We Want podcast. Tis I, your loyal, royal one that you can't boil. Okay, God, we just lost some fucking viewers on that one. It's I, your host, Jazz, aka JT. Some people may refer to me as Superjaz.
Superjaz.
I said it backwards at time just to be a little different. But yeah, you can call me Jazz, SJ, JT, Superjaz. Welcome to the Whatever We Want podcast. I believe I already said that. I am here with my good friend, my co-host.
Oh yeah, y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Feogrande on YouTube, also sometimes referred to as Pete on this show. What is up and good? How are you? How are you today, good sir? I am enjoying myself because it is a good day on the planet Earth. No particular reason. Actually, literally no particular reason. It's actually, and if you really want to look for reasons, I wouldn't be able to give you one. I just feel good today. I would be like, it's a good day on planet Earth, but that's not true. So that's why I'm like, don't ask me for a reason. Just know I feel good right now. Or it's like that one Sonic song. Don't ask me why. I don't need a reason. I've got my way, my own way. It doesn't matter.
Wait.
I will never give up the fight.
Do I know this song?
It's in Sonic Adventure 2.
I'm trying to be like, I feel
And
like
technically it's Sonic Adventure 1, but it's sung differently by a different person. And it has a different like rhythm to it. It doesn't matter now what happens. I will never give up the fight. Same song, but different ways of singing it. Anyhow, welcome everybody to the Whatever We Want podcast, where we go off on tangents.
I was gonna let you finish whatever you were doing because
we may not be from Sign City, but we go off on plenty of tangents.
I was gonna let you finish whatever you were doing, but yes, as he said, we go off on tangents. Pretty much the point of the show is one big random stream of consciousness conversation that starts from a tangent and then leads to several others. Because we do not lead the conversation leads us. As you can see, it was already starting to do that before we even introed anything.
A small part of me wishes I was from Vegas, just so I could make a better version of that pun with instead of Sin City, Sign City. Be like, I'm from Sign City, so I'm always willing to co-sign on some tangents. Let's go.
That's actually so stupidly smart. I'm always willing to co-sign on some tangents. I am very surprised in my lifetime, in my 30 years, I have not heard one person make that joke. I'm always.
Well, thank you.
I'm always willing to co-sign on some tangents. That's some clever shit. I watch battle rap. I'm surprised at battle rap. Seriously, I'm surprised.
At least somebody from Vegas.
Or just somebody just be like, yeah, because when it comes down to it, I do arithmetic with these guns, so I'm willing to co-sign on every tangent. Like, just wild shit. Everything in battle rap is about how I'm a fucking fuck your girl or your fucking like sister, kill your daughter and everybody in your family, and I got 1 billion guns, and I'm gonna shoot every single one of y'all.
And then I'm gonna have one friend go get 2 friends, and 2 friends get 3. 3 friends get 4 friends, and
Well,
4 friends come back to meet me. You know,
battle rap is a very niche thing.
2 friends get three
A lot.
friends, and 3 friends bring 4. 4 friends bring 5 friends, and 5 friends bring more. It's been a while since I've heard it.
Battle rap is battle rap is a very niche thing to the point where a lot of people don't. I don't really watch it, but I am one of the people that keeps up with it somewhat religiously. But if not religiously, I just keep up with it on a continuous basis. And for those of you all who don't know, which may be the lot of you, he didn't use friends. The original guy, he didn't use the word friends.
Well, yeah, because friends will let you down.
I'll go ahead, if we're going to talk about that or not, whatever. But I'll go ahead and tell our people watching / listening, just even if you don't give a fuck about battle rap, look up the battle between O Solo, that's O and then space SOLO versus Swave Seva, that would be SWAVE space SEVAH. And I think it might be the second round of O Solos, where he gives one of the most classic motherfucking to the point Pete don't watch the shit. I've shown it to him and other friends of mine because that shit is so goddamn epic. When you watch that shit, you were like, "Oh, Solo, what the hell were you thinking?" And this man's considered a legend in the game. My battle rap knowledge goes but so far. I do know a lot about battle rap, but there's some things that I've missed. He's a legend. I forget for what region. So okay, whatever. But this motherfucker, the shit that this dude said, like I said, he didn't say friends. He said Negro, but he didn't say Negro. He said
I'm pretty, which is funny because I think we've said it on the show.
We said the word several
times.
I'm alluding to it to be silly. He said shout out to Tupac, never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. So yeah. You know, Tupac said that's the acronym for niggas.
You know, I've heard so many different meanings for that word throughout my life. Obviously, I'm not going to tell people don't be offended by it. If you're offended by it, obviously there's a good reason to be offended.
Very good reason to be offended. Right?
But it's also one of those things where I've heard it enough to where it's like I at least can contextualize when somebody's using it, like the intent behind it, if you know what I mean.
Most of the time,
like,
that's almost any.
Well,
that's
almost. And I guess that's my point when it comes to words and offense in general. Anything can be offensive if said if said in an offensive way. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna say this.
No, and I'm not trying to defend the N word before people go crazy. No, I just said I understand why people are offended by it, but people also like, if you're offended by it, why do you use it? I'm like, well, because context is everything, and a lot of the culture, a lot of the songs I like use the fucking word, and if I'm gonna sing along with the song, you know what I mean? That's a very broad example, but obviously, you know, the whole Hulk Hogan thing a while back, I understand why people are mad at him because of what he did. You know what I mean? Do I? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I get why people are mad at Hulk Hogan. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna be out here and be like, everybody should do it. That was hilarious at WrestleMania.
Hardcore non-stop booze. And when they brought WrestleMania back, you know, with like the half capacity,
it was hilarious.
Third capacity crowd, whatever. Yeah, but no, that's what I was gonna say. Before we get into this conversation, you already said it, but I was gonna say for those listening, I know Pete, without necessarily speaking straight up for him, we're not trying to defend using any words. We're just having a conversation.
It was just one of those things where I was just like, well, we're like, why do we? Like, we're not helping things, but there are also times where we go out of our way not to say things in like the most negative connotations with it, like when we were talking about the activity a couple episodes ago, when I was like, Buddy Murphy was knocking on Alistair Black's door and running away. You know what I mean?
Well, but that's because I mean one sometimes on this show because I mean we are extremely just like extremely not extremely I was gonna say extremely vulgar. We're not extremely vulgar. We're not just like fuck titties ass you know stab him in the neck with his little bitch made face. Like it's not like that crazy. Like we're not extremely vulgar. But on this show, we're like vulgar enough and obscene enough to the point where we honestly could have said what the fuck we were alluding to in the last episode. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have been that crazy. So part of it is the comedy of pretending as though we are.
But there's also just like if it's unnecessary. What I guess it's always unnecessary if it's but you know what I mean. Egregiously unnecessary. Why bother? You know what I mean?
In the previous episode with the Buddy Murphy thing and alluding to it, part of it also would have been that we weren't saying it for any real point except for the one-off joke and the connotation behind the action that we were alluding to. The conversation behind that action is something that is actually really bad.
Yeah.
And actually could so-called set people back if we talk about the action. Mm. So and not because of the word itself, but because the action.
Mm-hmm. And there's another way to talk about it.
Yeah.
Ding dong ditch, as I learned.
Yeah, well, you're right. And, well, I mean, you even felt kind of bad that your brain went to that action in the first place. Like, why is this the first? You were like, why is this the first thing I thought of?
Like, why did I never hear another name for this?
So that was the whole thing with that. And if you all don't know what we're talking about, we're alluding to something. And even though we've said everything around this shit, we're still not gonna say it because we didn't say it last episode, so we're not gonna say it. But basically, last episode, run away. Mm-hmm. What are we alluding to? Alliteration, figure it out. Okay. But yeah. But like I said, we're not. It's just. I see what you're getting at. At the risk of having a controversial conversation be even more controversial, oh well, we're going down the rabbit hole. Let's go. But I definitely understand, and I definitely see both sides of people saying, to an extent, depending on
always to it. Everything is to an extent, people. There's no black. There's no black and white, but. Morally, there's no black and white.
It was the perfect phrase for any other time.
You can't go out there, and have every decision be a moral coin flip of right or wrong. There's shades in there of right or wrong. Situations are situational, I guess is what I'm saying. So everything's within reason, and every day ain't the same. Some days you ain't trying to hear shit from nobody.
But it's one of those things where it's like,
somebody say hi and it'll set you off.
Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna say there's just certain words that, depending on what group that you come from, I completely understand why you would not be okay with it. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes when people are like, but it's not that big of a deal, or not so much that big of a deal, but I'm trying to take out the sting of certain words. I'm not saying exclusively for nigger, everybody watching, so chill out. Not exclusively for nigger, just words, period.
Words in general, and that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's like words in general, anything could be. People are more ready to be offended than to look at situations, is what I was going at earlier.
I want everybody watching and listening to understand the two black dudes are not trying to go here and fucking advocate.
No, there are all kinds of words. It's just...
Calm down.
The only reason I came up is because we censored the old solo line, but that was mainly as a joke / reference.
As a joke, because we're saying it fucking without remorse or any without hesitation right now. So yeah, no, it's like using the B word with a woman the F word, and I don't mean fuck, with a certain other group of people.
Yeah, I don't use the secondary F word anymore. Definitely use the primary F word. I fucking love fuck. Fuck is one of my favorite profane words. It's not, but I think motherfucker technically supersedes it. But fuck is why motherfucker is a thing, is a profanity word. So, but I say motherfucker so much.
I feel like black people use motherfucker more than like damn near any other like community.
Well, do you remember the late Bernie Mac and his Kings of Comedy sketch?
You told that joke. Yeah, I don't remember him saying that, but yeah, that's some true shit.
Yeah, it was his last bit in the Kings of Comedy tour thing. Where he's like, don't be afraid of the word motherfucker, because he was saying like black people use the word motherfucker. He's like, I got a white friend that asked me, Burn. He said, Burn, why do black people always use the word motherfucker? And then he goes to this whole thing about like, as far as we're concerned, for the most part, motherfucker is just a noun that can be used that describes a person, place, a thing. And then he had his whole, like, I don't want to go through the whole thing because, it's someone's whole fucking routine. I don't want to quote it word for word, but I'm trying to say the gist of it at the same time. But he does go through a conversation where pretty much every other word is the word motherfucker, and it makes sense. If he's like, you might hear the word motherfucker 32 times, but the conversation makes sense like a motherfucker.
Bro, Bernie Mac.
I actually think because I saw that at a young age, that also helped
you
wire stuff up here. I'm black. I can say motherfucker, behind my mom's back. But I can say not about my mom, but you get my point. I don't want to get my ass whooped.
Wasn't nobody thinking of you?
Well, not everybody. There are some people out there that don't have pleasurable experiences in the sense like their life was not good.
That's true.
When it comes to their
people out there that are not fond of their moms and their dads and whatnot.
Yeah,
and I feel for y'all, but that's true.
Like it's a lot. And we can also go into this because it is June, Father's Day month, and I could talk about how underappreciated by all societies fathers are. Because Jazz, honest question. When's the last time you've heard a hit song on the radio, or can you think of any hit songs, pop or rap or whatever, that are pro the father and it's not religious? That they talk about fathers in a positive light and it's not religious.
And it doesn't have to be reason.
Please, give me an example.
The only one that the one that pops in my head right away is Luther Vandross's "Dance with My Father."
Oh, okay.
Dance with my father again. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Oh. The fact that it popped in my head, but you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Jazz.
How much
for all the shit I give you about liking or not liking or knowing shit the common person does, you're the first person that's given me an example in the past few years that I've asked this as a random question to people. You're the first person that's given me an actual example.
That's a pretty popular song. How much do you know, to be fair?
I know a chair is still a chair, even if it's not a house. I thought about once doing like a parody sermon.
To another great man, Luther Vandross.
I thought about once doing like a parody sermon where the pastor is talking about in the book of Luther, it says a chair is still a chair, even if no one is sitting there. But a chair is not a house. And a house is not a home without Jesus Christ in your life. A room may still be a room, even if only thing in there is gloom. But a room is not a house, and a house is not a home. When you were far apart from your relationship with God.
And there's also the song "I'd rather be beside you in the storm than safe and warm."
Was he "Can I Take You Out Tonight"?
Yes.
Yeah, that one too.
So
I've heard a decent amount of Luther throughout my life. In all honesty, Dance with My Father, I probably have heard the thing. However, I will say that's not necessarily when that song came out or was big, wasn't a sentiment I empathized with.
What
if that makes any sense to you, if you get what I'm saying.
I like you. I get it. I'm reading between every line. Yeah. I get you. What's another mom song? The only mom song that comes to my mind off the top of my head. I know there's gotta be several. The only one come is Boys to Men, Mama. You know I love you.
Well, so Mr. Rap Enthusiast, how about Tupac? Dear Mama.
Oh, okay. Dear Mama.
What if we want to keep with rap and St. Louis? There's that Nelly song that he devoted pretty much entirely to like his mom and shit with the whole whatever you want. Actually, no, he also talks about his wife in there, I think he talks about both of them.
Talking about hits. We talking about hits or you just talking about
there's plenty of hits out there, but a lot of hits, there are a lot more hits, people that talk positively about their mom than there are hits. There are, or I'm not even gonna say there are more, I'm gonna say there are about as much, if not equal or less than, hits people talking positive about their mom than there are talking negatively about their father.
Shit, Eminem even fucking made that song like all them years later on, I think it was Marshall Mathers LP, the song Headlights, which is about him apologizing.
Wait, he actually apologized to his mom? Yeah. That's about the only negative person I hear talk about their mom in pop culture. And even he has a song where he's like, you know what? I went a little bit too hard on you, mama. Let me talk to you about this.
I don't know the fullest extent of the lyrics of the song or how it goes, but it's a song called Headlights that got like a moderate level of fame off the Marshall Mathers LP 2, I believe, with him and dude Nate Roos from the band Fun. You know, tonight we are young. That song. The chorus is like headlights shining in the dark as we drive on. I don't know the full like story. I need to listen to it, but it's basically Eminem apologizing. He's like, yo, you weren't the best mom, but I went kind of hard, and at the end of the day, you're still my mom. I should have chilled out. Basically, even
he's like, okay, maybe I went a little too hard. I still
in the song, he says something along the lines of the song "Cleaning Out My Closet." I can't even listen to it when it comes on, and that song was damning his mom like shit. So yeah, even Eminem apologized years later.
Well,
and he didn't apologize to his dad.
Yeah, I can think of songs like. There's obviously Papa Was a Rolling Stone. That whole song is about how much of an asshole his dad was. And his mom being the one telling him, your dad ain't shit. Father of Mine by Everclear is a song like Father of Mine. That's the whole song. He's talking about him not liking his dad. And like how his dad abandoned him when they were kids. Is literally the song, I was 10 years old. Doing all that I could. Wasn't easy for me to be a scared white boy in a black neighborhood. Apparently that happened, I guess. Which, to be fair, yes, racism exists outside of neighborhood, but you don't ever want to be the only one of anything surrounded by things that are not you, whether you're the only black surrounded by whites or vice versa.
One of my friends right now, his they're not married, but they fucking started living together now. Well, my friends right now, black dude, his significant other is a white guy, right? And they grew up like the white dude. The white dude said that he grew what?
I just got a random text message from my dad.
Wow, that's funny. Fucking, you talk him up and look what happens. But no, one of my friends right now, my good friend right now, his significant other is he's a black dude. His significant other is a white guy, and this is a white gay man who said he grew up in the fucking like black hood. Like it's like, ooh, But this is like this is a tough motherfucker. So, but still, it's
well,
like
he had to be.
it's going to be.
No, you have to be.
If
That's why it wasn't easy for that other guy. That's why it wasn't easy for the other guy. But I got him been tough enough. And then he also had a line in that song where it's like, "Daddy gave me a name and then he walked away."
Damn.
Like,
Ew.
that's how you feel about that.
I don't even like hearing it.
It's like, "Daddy gave me a name and then he walked away. Daddy gave me a name and then he walked away. My daddy gave me a name." Guitar solo. Anyway, there are other songs out there where that's just like, the whole point of the song is, "Hey, Dad, you know what? Fuck you. I ain't need you anyway. That's my life." You know what I'm saying? But all I need is my mama anyway. You know, shit like that, where it's like, and
no, you're right. You're 100% right.
Go-to sob story for just about anything. Like half the time, even if you're trying to convey a story, Lion King is one of the few things where they kill the dad. Usually, it's like, you want the kids to cry, you kill the mom, or you either kill the mom or kill them both. That's usually the way people go. It's either they were an orphan from the start, they got dead parents, or, oh, look at how much their mother loves them. She dead, motherfucker. Yeah, you feel sad. Why not? Male, motherfucker.
You dead, motherfucker. Male, motherfucker.
Dead, motherfucker.
Bambi, Dumbo, shit, what else? Cinderella is the evil stepmom.
Yeah.
Her parents are dead. Like, yeah.
Fucking Aladdin's parents are dead, and even when he does finally meet his dad, his mom was dead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Avatar. Zuko's mom, you know, yep. Zuko's Katara's mom sacrificed herself. Like, good Lord.
Yeah, yeah. So, and like when you see your shows like Chopped or any of those like reality show competition things, you always have a contestant that like literally like, my mother had to raise us all. Like the plight of the growing up under a single mother, which obviously respect to single mothers out there.
Respect to single parents. Period.
I'm not gonna go out here and be like, I'm not talking shit on single moms. Single moms are amazing, but and because of all the stuff they're able to do and all that stuff. But my point is, you seldom see people go on there and be like, my dad had to raise us all. You know, and even if you hear a story like that, it gets buried under like 50 dead mom or 50 suffering mom stories. So it's just funny like how society looks at it. And even still, I used to work at a place that did catering, and we catered like sandwich platters to people. And
I mean now different place, but yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. And Mother's Day was one of my favorite days at that place slash most dreaded day. And it really sucks because once I became a general manager, due to circumstances, I was never able to fully reap I think I was only able to reap the benefits of this once. But every year, 35 or more, sometimes 40, 30-piece platters on Mother's Day. By 10:30 a.m., they wanted it.
10:30?
Yep. But that's a couple K for the store. So, okay. Father's Day, I think the most I've seen, because the same place would order for Father's Day, the most I remember ever seeing them order was 6.
That's a huge difference. That is a huge difference. That is like about a 30 platter difference. By 10:30.
If they ordered it all, because there were some years where they ordered on Mother's Day and didn't order anything on Father's Day.
Now, again, people listening, I'm going to say this. I hope this doesn't sound as combative as I mean, but understand what I'm saying. If you think that we are trying to condemn moms and say, ooh, oh no, wham, 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 while we are saying this, get your head out your ass. All right, I just want to say that.
Did I not just talk about how much I respect single mothers?
Yeah. I just don't want people to think that we're just like whining on this motherfucker.
I was raised by a single mother. After I just talked about the Chop thing, and then I'm like, I was raised by a single mother.
When you said
But I
single mom, I
was.
was thinking about that. Yeah, you
But
were.
I
Right.
was. So obviously, I get why moms are appreciated more than dads. However,
Dads
dads
need love.
should be appreciated too. Like, obviously, every situation is the same and stuff, but I personally could never walk away from my kids.
Excuse me.
You know what I mean? If I had kids, I don't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't. But I couldn't do it. But I can see why some people might not. When the job is underappreciated, not a lot of people are signing up for it. Less people are signing up for it. And being a parent is a job in and of itself. If you
Hell,
are a decent human being and don't just walk away. But,
hell yes.
there are also some people out there that are just like, well, fucking, you don't need dads anyway. Fucking, ain't no respect for me. Or, you know what I mean? Obviously, there are assholes that lead the kids and stuff like that. And like I said, situations are situational. But when I look at stuff like that, I'm like, I'm not like. There are so many cases of dads just walking away. Like you don't hear about moms walking away, though. I personally know an experience that involves a terrible mother that I won't get into. But yeah, so I do know that terrible moms do exist, but they seem to be far outweighed by the amount of terrible dads out there. But there are
I
good
mean,
dads, and respect to all of y'all here in this Father's Day month.
I will say to be fair, not to do like the whole whataboutism, but at the risk of sounding that way, to be fair, just because we don't hear about something doesn't mean it don't happen. You know.
I
So
That's
yeah,
what I'm
which
saying.
you basically said that.
I'm saying no. I know a person out there that is a terrible mom. Okay, that's why I'm saying I have personal experiences knowing an individual out there whose name I won't put out there because
Is
that's not what I'm here to do.
is that something that needs to be edited out that you're alluding to it that much or no?
No, fuck
Okay,
her.
cool. Oh damn, touche. But I was gonna say that the whole thing like it appears because it's shown that more dads walk away than the moms, which statistically I do believe it that is the case, but maybe not as much of a gap as we see. But I would say that that's pretty much the same way as like they say the whole black on black crime and black on black crime is a thing because black people are always killing black people in black people neighborhoods. But if you are a terrible person and a huge criminal, you kill the people who you're around. And black people tend to live around neighborhoods with more black people as opposed to other races, because that's why, if we're being fair, white people kill white people, Asians kill Asians, Hispanic kill Hispanics. So that's why I'm saying black on black crime became this big thing, but people kill people is what I'm getting at.
Assholes exist regardless of
Damn.
race. Regardless of race or body parts, assholes are going to exist. It doesn't matter what race you
There you
are
go.
or what body part you have, you can be an asshole. That's true. But it's
Doesn't matter
more
what race
about.
or body part you could be an ass. What body part you have, you could be an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I killed the seriousness. We needed some levity. That's why I made that joke like that. Okay. But I'm just saying the clarity I got. I had already got it. I was just being a dumbass.
But yeah, anybody can be an asshole. It is what it is. But my thing is not necessarily trying to say don't call these people assholes because asshole situations are terrible. An asshole should be called out. My thing is let's hear more about when it comes to the people we don't hear about. Let's hear about that more, or at least acknowledge that that's out there, because you take the biases that people know about these things and you're like, let's say you get a news story and one involves a murderous or Actually, let's take a mass shooter. One done by a white guy in a MAGA hat, another done by somebody in a different and I'm talking about today. Which one's gonna happen? Another one done by someone that falls into a minority performing that act. Though the MAGA guy kills people. Actually, doesn't matter who the MAGA white guy kills. This person kills other people. It kills white people. This minority. Both are terrible things. Both will be mentioned by the media. But if you want them to keep trying to push whatever thing right now, they're definitely going to focus on this white guy story a lot more because it sells the whole white people are the only racist things out there. If you don't believe me, there was a mass shooting a couple months ago done by a Muslim guy. Everybody was quick to tweet out, this is why white people are terrible and they shouldn't have guns. They found out the guy was a Muslim. They shut the fuck up immediately. Is that right? No. And I'm saying anybody can be an asshole. Both people should be condemned for what they did equally. Just because more people in this guy's crew are the ones that you see doing it, because like you with the black on black crime, assholes that happen to be or going to kill who they happen to be around with whatever they happen to have available to them. It is easier for a white person to get a mass shooting weapon, but that don't mean they're the only ones. There are assholes in both. You shouldn't cover one more. I'm not saying you should have covered the minority more than the white person. You should cover them both the same. They should both be equally condemned. But that's not how news works. That's not how society works. Society works because humans, at their nature, and I get this, are tribal and group oriented. You are going to go with people who are like-minded, like-sighted, like appearance to you, and anything else you're going to at the very least be adverse to, even if you don't outright hate it. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, no, you're not one of us. However, because there's that innate just I'm different from this person, when you hear more negative about that other side, that's just gonna reinforce, okay, that's why I didn't fuck with these motherfuckers over here. You know what I mean?
You hear people say that a lot too. That last statement is a very good point to the psyche of most people. Is if you because that like what you just said, the last few sentences and that last sentence even more so, is such a true statement to the psyche of how the average person thinks. I'm not saying that I'm excluded. Basically you said, like you said, humans, we are tribal. We get together, we do our thing, and you are like, oh well, this person looks like me, acts like me, talks like me. I want to talk like them, so to speak, shit like that. And then the second somebody else does something crazy, you find a way to reinforce, for good reason or bad reason. You find a way to reinforce. That's why I don't fuck with them. That was a good point. I would definitely give you that last one.
That's true. And if these add up toward your life and you get more, that's why I don't fuck with them, as opposed to, well, I could fuck with them. You're one at every situational, but everybody like that is why. As a concept, shit like racism is never going to go away entirely. Now, that said, can we make steps to lessen its effects on things? Yes. Instead of being like I'm not saying, like I said, with the whole aversion to people, whatever, natural. It's natural for you to come across something and the Metal Gear Solid exclamation point go up on your head because it falls into that thing where you're like, and you're like, wait a second. And you can approach something with caution because, let's say, your life situations or things you've learned throughout your life, you're like, yeah, I need to approach this with caution. But as opposed to, let me approach this with action, hate crime, yelling, attacking. Let me approach it with caution and see if we can at least be friendly about stuff. Let's find a common ground and stuff like that. Like, I can sit in the car or I had an Uber ride the other day, and this has nothing to do with race, but just to have an idea of different groups and how you
Mhm.
can react to things. I was in a car the other day. I took an Uber to get my hair cut.
Okay.
This guy was the biggest, and I mean, I've never seen anybody to this scale. Buccaneers fan I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Oh
His
shit.
car covered in Buccaneer shit. His license plate got the frame. He's got a Deadpool sticker, a Deadpool in his fucking Buccaneer stuff.
Where you
Inside
at?
his car, he's got like banners up around, like being like, we were Super Bowl champs in these years. We got like this. On his dashboard, he has a thing that plays a loop of ESPN video clips on YouTube talking about the Buccaneers. Like this man,
This motherfucker like the goddamn Buccaneers.
this man will let you, he is unashamed.
You better not hate the Buccaneers and want to get in that shit, but you don't
And
like
for
Tom
people
Brady.
who don't know, recently, at the last year, the Buccaneers
Uh-oh.
acquired a player that I am not the
Uh-oh.
best. I am not happy with. I don't necessarily like this individual. See if you can guess who I'm talking about in the chat down below. But I don't necessarily like this individual. So, and I'm sitting in a car surrounded by stuff fresh after this individual just won a championship, including a lot of those ESPN clips involving that person. Now, I could sit in the car and go, fuck you for liking this, or refuse the Uber ride, or just sit in silence and awkwardness and hatred while I'm in the car. Or I could go, this guy likes football. Let's talk
Let's talk.
about like football, but not necessarily, that. Just like, oh, what do you think is this happening? And, still had a pleasant conversation with the guy. I did mention that I'm not the biggest fan of his team, but, I'm happy for him that his city got a championship.
Did
Because
you
clearly that guy was a Bucks fan before that dude showed up. And there's
that
no
much?
reason.
Yeah.
And considering I didn't hate the team before that dude showed up, all right, let me just compliment him on the fact that his team got a second ring.
Did you tell him straight up like yo, I fucking hate the quarterback? Did you tell him
Oh, I
go
told
hard
him I
on him?
don't like the guy. I
And
definitely
what
told
did
him I
he
don't
say?
like the guy. I mean, he understood, but we got a championship. He's like, I didn't really like him before he came here either.
Oh, well then there you go. Y'all had a
Now, he
common ground.
did try to give that individual credit for everything, and I did have to like politely discourse with them. Like, I don't think taking an 8-8 team and making them a 10-6 team is that big of an accomplishment. Obviously, when you get to the playoffs, it's whatever. But the Giants beat said guy twice, and I think both times they went into the playoffs at 9-7. And people go, "Oh, they didn't deserve that championship," but at least they made it in there and they did what they had to do. You know what I mean? They weren't a powerhouse
Um,
team, but they got the job done. And that's all I'm saying about it. I'm like, I don't think taking an 8-8 team to 10-6 is the Jesus bringing Lazarus back to life from the dead that people are trying to make it out to be. Just because the previous quarterback threw as many interceptions as he did touchdowns because he couldn't fucking see. The man needed LASIK surgery apparently,
yeah, you told me that. But no, when I used to
and still
drive
threw for 5,000 yards. By the way. But the quarterback was so bad. He threw a lot of interceptions. You clean that up with the LASIK, who knows what would have happened. You still got
when
8
I
wins out of that.
yeah, you told me that. What was I gonna say? When I drove Uber, that was something that I realized that people would do with me. Cause you know me, like obviously based off of this podcast and how long we've known each other, both of us can be conversationalists in our own rights and very much carry a conversation with people and have a great time with it. So when I drove Uber for a minute and I should probably tap back into it. I gotta clean my fucking car out. Side note, if anybody out there, you or whoever decides to drive Uber, clean out your trunk. That's one thing you don't think. Clean out your trunk. Don't leave your trunk messy because people will want to put shit in your trunk if they got luggage from said airport or friend's house or whatever. Didn't realize that. Side note. Anyway, so, but no, I used to drive Uber, and my thing was when I drove Uber, I wouldn't talk to the passenger unless the passenger started talking to me first, because I've been the passenger in the Uber ride and been like, bro, will this Uber driver shut the so I wasn't that guy. But
Mm.
if people did talk to me, they start talking, and I even got a few like actually some like good ratings and compliments from people because we found we had a common ground. I started talking to people, and I have a very interesting love of music. And a lot of times people talk to me about anything else. I noticed some of the compliments were the dudes, I think it was more so guys that got in my ride and started asking me questions about whatever. We started getting on a conversation about music. Next thing you know, we talking about this, and I'm getting over getting like, good ratings, compliments, good music and shit. It wasn't because I was playing good music. I play in the fucking radio. It's because I actually had a compliment that said good music, not because I was playing the radio, because we were talking about music and shit like that. This one dude, we were talking about, certain little shit or whatever, and he was like, "Hey man, you seem like you like really into music. Like, what's going on? Like, damn, like couldn't believe and shit." But it was because we're talking about stuff that we have a couple like people like don't necessarily realize. Oh, this person likes what I like. Holy shit! Because we talk about fucking Earl Sweatshirt. And people like probably don't fucking know who that is. And going back to like liking like certain like other old school rap and shit like that. And I think one time I talked about Rage Against the Machine with somebody. Shortly after Far From Home came out, and somebody was asking me like what I thought about it, and I told her like, "Yo, Far From Home was like the shit. I loved how they did Mysterio." So yeah, no, definitely like you were like, I'm about to get in this car with this dude.
Like, oh, this is gonna be the most miserable ride on the fucking planet. I gotta ride through this shit. But no, dude was chill. Because rather than being there and be like, oh, well, I see I'm in the car with a fucking Bucks fan, I was just like, or just, sitting there in angry silence and just being awkward, because I don't like awkward silences in, like, cars and shit, especially. Like, I'm gonna be in here.
I can definitely
Sorry.
I can definitely agree with you there.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna be in here for 25 minutes. I gotta at least try to say something. Like sometimes I'll get in the car and the person doesn't like speak English or doesn't want to talk, but I'll be like, oh hey, how I'll at least ask a question like, hey, and if they don't say nothing cool or if they don't speak English, they'll be like, oh no English, and I'm like, oh okay, say un poco español, we can try to talk that way and they're like that. Or if I see their name is like, Umberto or something like that, I'm like, oh, how you doing? Or, buenas tardes or something like that. And often I'll get a, oh, speak Spanish? Because they don't, know that I speak Spanish. And I'm like, oh, un poco, and we can at least try to have a conversation. And then people will be like, oh, I don't know, English. I'm like, your English. They're like, oh, sorry, my English. And I'm like, oh, well, you said that pretty well. Like, your English is probably the same level of my Spanish. And I've had numerous conversations where I try to talk to them in Spanish while they try to respond to me in English. And then we like fill in the words for one another.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that's not often. It's usually if it's someone that doesn't really speak, they just don't respond when I ask them how are they doing today or where are they from. And they're like, oh, I'm from. That's another way where I don't just start with like something Spanish. I'm just like, oh, so where are you from? They're like, oh, Venezuela. And I say, like, Venezuela. And they're like, if I pronounce it correctly that day, they're just like, wait. Or I'll roll an R. They're like, "Oh, Puerto Rico, Boricua," and they're like, "Oh, wait, what do you know about this?" Find a common ground with people. You aren't going to extend your tribe or whatever if you don't find common grounds with people. That's what makes your tribe, the whole tribal instincts. To bring it back to my original point, you can be less cautious if you at least try to extend something to do it. It's like when you fucking walk up to a cat or dog and you hold out your hand so they can snip it and be like, all right, I'll fucks with you. But instead of doing that, because we ain't gonna walk around sniffing each other as human beings, throw out a fucking olive branch of like, oh, we have this in common? Cool. Or maybe we don't have anything in common and you can find a way to laugh about it. Like, dang, we don't like anything, do we? Yeah.
I'll just say, if this motherfucker, if I go meet a motherfucker, hey, how's it going? And this fool starts sniffing me,
shake somebody's hand.
Like, yo, hey, how,
Yeah. Yeah, can't do that. So you just like, oh, hey, so how about that sports team, you know? Oh,
oh,
sports talk. See, I didn't even talk about race in the cars and stuff like that, although I have had a thing, and I've gotten in cars with, super Republican people. Now I could just go, oh, this person's a racist because they are Republican. Or I can be like, there are thousands of reasons one picks a political party. There are only two of them. You really have to decide if you're going to pick a party at all. You
there's
gotta,
technically more than
you
two.
gotta. If you want to pick one that has a chance at winning anything.
Oh,
Now that said, I'm not telling people not to vote for the other parties. Like I said, there's tons of them, but I'm saying there are reasons people pick stuff aside from I'm racist or I'm not racist.
right. I'm being serious.
But my thing is, I could get in the car and be like, oh, this person show as hell hates me, and get in the car and treat them like shit while I'm in there, or I can see them as just another person that happens to like this thing. Try to avoid politics or just be like, yo, how you doing today? Talk about like you don't have to talk about the thing you hate about that other person, especially if it's unless you out here looking for confrontation and you just want to fight a motherfucker because you like, damn it, I done lifted weights for 50 years. I'm gonna fight any nigga that talks to me. It's like, okay, sure, you can do that. Yeah, that's on you. It's your prerogative. At the end of the day, live your life. I don't think you should. I'm not condoning anybody walking up and punching a motherfucker in the face unless they got like Hulk abilities and shit like that. In which case, I couldn't stop you if I wanted to. I don't think
Was
it's
it
right,
ludicrous
but who the
song?
fuck's stopping you?
That ludicrous song. I feel like slapping a nigga today. Slap,
Is that a song?
slap.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I never heard all of it, but yeah, I feel
I
like
mean,
slapping a
and
nigga
we've all
today.
had
Slap,
days
slap.
where we've all had days or moments where we're like, man, I just want to punch somebody in the face. I just, whether it's mad or just, what if I punch somebody in the face right now?
Well,
But what separates the maniacs?
what separates the sane from the crazy, what separates the good from the bad is
They
you
get
may
more
want to hit a
good.
motherfucker, but you don't actually just walk down the street
Exactly.
and punch him
Exactly.
up.
But
This
there are things
motherfucker
called
walking down the street
consequences
wearing
for your actions.
this motherfucker walking down the street wearing polka dots. Nigga, I don't like polka dots. Polka dots and plaid? You clashing pattern ass bitch.
Oh,
Oh, this is
hell
getting
no.
punched. I'm punching the fuck out of this mother.
Shit.
Ooh, that'll teach you to wear plaid polka dot, you clashing stripe ass motherfucker. Like what?
But yeah, I guess at the end of the day, because we were going on so many tangents, the bottom line is
I co-sign these tangents.
I
I think you said that off camera, damn.
No, no. We started it with it.
Anyway, whatever.
No, we started with that because we took too long to do the intro because we kept going on tangents, and so yeah, so it worked. But yeah, bottom line is just think when you meet somebody, rather than meet somebody and think, how much don't I like this motherfucker? Think about, well, how could we like each other at least a little bit more while we're in each other's presence? You know what I mean? And if they ain't wanting to cooperate, then so be it. Be the bigger person. Just be like, fair enough. Don't even bother. You don't have to talk to them, or you don't have to be like, well, fuck you. Then just be like, oh, okay. Well, you don't want to talk, cool. And
go ahead, sorry.
And move on. Just like, all right. Like I said, in that Uber car, if I would have tried to say something about that, and the guy starts saying like too much, I'm just like, all right. Hold on a second. I call, or even if you gotta like try to find a way out of that conversation and then sit in silence, sure. But for the most part, you can find ways to get along with people in the presence of people, even if you don't think you would like that person on your first meeting. The whole books and covers, I guess. Don't judge a book by a cover. I guess, which is racism and sports topics.
I've had several instances where I've met somebody who tried to intimidate me or whatever the fuck. More so when I was in school, but just in my life, tried to intimidate me or whatever. Found out that we had a common ground. Oh, this is a cool dude. Like they're thinking that with me. Next thing I know, they're not trying to intimidate me, and now they're trying to be my friend.
Mm-hmm. And And before people call me a hypocrite in the comments, because they're gonna be like, you said at the beginning of that one video you wouldn't even date a Patriots fan, yet you're saying come out here and find a common ground with people. Well, yes, I didn't say anything about hating someone because they're a Patriots fan. Because who knows, they might be from Boston. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna hate you. I'm not gonna hate you. We could be friends. I just know I don't like your sports team. And if we don't agree on something, I'll be like, see, this is why I don't fuck with Patriots fans. But we can still be friends. I'm like, so and so they don't like this. Well, they're a Patriots fan. I don't really care if they don't like that. We can still have a friendly relationship, but I can't. I'm not gonna straight up date a Patriots fan because I ain't trying to root for the fucking Patriots. And when you date somebody, you get that relationship. What's yours is theirs, and vice versa. So their team becomes my team, and I refuse to have my team be the Patriots. So I ain't dating a Patriots fan. It's as simple as that.
I hate the Patriots. That's hilarious. At the end of the day, everybody, as we wrap this up, we talked about some topics that may seem a little controversial, and this one a little more than normal. But on some real on some real shit, I think that my good friend here makes some great points, and just as an overall arc, hopefully y'all took something from this and y'all want to keep on watching / listening to said podcast. And if you would like to keep watching, listening to the podcast, and even find us on our other socials, you can go ahead and find me. That would be Superjaz. Like my page on Facebook. That is SUPERJAZ. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitter, which would be Superjaz2. So that is Superjaz number 2. Go ahead and find me and follow me on Instagram. That would be Forever Super Jazz, which is forever spelled correctly, and then Super Jazz. And I rap / MC / rap from time to time. So go ahead, look me up on wherever you find your music, and that would be the EP Too Much Free Time. Every word spelled correctly. You might have to put in Too Much Free Time Super Jazz because I'm not that big yet. All right, Pete, tell them something good, man. What's poppin'?
I don't know what I'm doing. Bottom line is, you can find me here. You can also find me on YouTube under Feogrande. That's Feogrande, all one word. I'm also on Twitch at twitch.tv / giotavi, GIOTAVI. And I have a Twitter of the same handle. Yeah, that's where you can find me, and stuff like that. On my YouTube, I mainly do like video game or geek related stuff, like lots of which, including the gentleman to my right or left. You're left of me on the screen, but I'm pointing to my right now. So the gentleman over here. So yeah, that's what we got.
Hey, yo, everybody. Sometimes we have lighthearted conversations. Sometimes we have deeper conversations. Sometimes we have a little more structured conversations. At the end of the day, our opinions, as always. And if you disagree, then you are allowed to disagree. If you agree, you are allowed to agree. Please engage with us in the comments. You don't have to agree with us to engage with us in the comments. Just please don't be a dick, as we stated earlier in the episode. Don't be an asshole.
There's no need.
We would love to have people disagree. If you do, and let's get a dialogue going. But at the end of the day, thanks for tuning in. Please keep tuning in. Where we would talk about what next time, Pete?
Whatever we want. Pod news.